Hey everybody, this is Brett Lewis from L4 Group, and today I woke up. It's cold outside. We're getting that time of year. It's getting cold, so we're going to be discussing fireplaces and specifically gas fireplaces. Joining us today is Steve Ohl from RF Ohl, and Steve operates a local company that sells and services fireplaces. And they also happen to sell and service heating and air conditioning equipment, deliver heating oil, propane, and more. But we'll get to that near the end of the video. So, but to start off, hello, Steve. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. So, before we start with the fireplace questions, why don't you give our viewers just a little bit of a background on your hearth showroom?
Sure. We started the Hearth and Patio showroom in 1999, and we started selling things that customers were asking us for because we had been in business since 1984, and we started hearing a lot of interest in Hearth and Patio products. So log sets, fireplaces, space heaters, um, different decorative appliances, even outdoor fireplaces, things like that. Were starting to become popular, and like I said, customers were asking us for it. So now, we have that. We have uh, many different brands, including Heat and Glow, Valor, White Mountain Hearth, Empire, um, Renai. I'm sure I'm missing some. There's just so many more. But off the top of my head, those are the ones that come to my mind. And we just went with what the customers were asking us for, and that's how we basically got into selling and servicing hearth and patio products.
That's awesome. So let's jump into some of the frequently asked questions on fireplaces. And the first up, and I'm sure that you get this one pretty frequently. Can I heat my entire home with a gas fireplace?
The short and simple answer is you probably could, depending on the size of the house and the layout and how air flows. The reality is, though, that you really shouldn't try to heat your entire home with what is essentially sometimes a decorative piece or a space heater. You'd be much better off having professional come in. We offer free estimates on heating systems and actually look at the layout of the house and see what's the best source of heat for your home, because trying to push heat from one source out into the rest of the home. If everybody's ever had a wood stove or a coal stove, and you go to their house and it's just so unbearably hot in one room, and they're like, "Yeah, I heat my entire house with this." Well, that's probably the reason, is because it's 100 degrees in one house, in part of the house, and 65 in the other. So, yeah, you could probably do it and keep your house from freezing, but there'll definitely be issues with the hot and cold spots. So, we don't recommend it. Do people do it? Yes. Um, but, it's up to everybody's choice. But my recommendation would be to, get a free estimate from somebody and take a look at it, hire a professional to come in and assess the situation.
Yeah, that's good advice. I mean, yeah, I had a flashback while you were talking. As a kid, I grew up in a home that my dad had the great idea to heat the house with a wood fireplace, a wood burning stove. So I spent my summers chopping 10 cords of wood every summer, chopping, stacking, letting it all dry, and then carrying it in during the wintertime. And you're right, that stove right smack in the middle of the home is really hot in that spot, but then in the outlying rooms, really cold. So,
I think every child of the 70s, when the oil embargo hit, that's what we did too. Spent our summers chopping wood and cutting wood, and the wood stove just ate it. It was crazy. You put so much wood in that thing. The modern day ones are so much more efficient, but still, yeah, you'd be sitting there in a t-shirt. You'd have to walk to the other end of the room. You get your jacket till you hit your bedroom. It was icicles in there.
exactly. So now here's another question I have. With gas fireplaces, do you need a chimney?
You do not need a chimney with a lot of the gas fireplaces. Some you can still use through a chimney. But many of the fireplaces today are what they call direct vent technology, or even vent free. They don't need any vent. So there's a couple different options. And you could still use what they call a B vent, which is the old style venting. Not many companies make those anymore, where they actually run a pipe up through the chimney and don't bring in fresh air. The new technology uses fresh air intakes, so that's a direct vent.
Okay. Okay. So installing a gas fireplace today has got to be a lot easier then, I assume.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Cool. So now, what about the difference between a gas fireplace and a pellet stove?
Well, a gas fireplace is pretty much what it says. It's using some type of a gas, whether it be natural gas or propane, to burn as the main source, where a wood pellet is using a solid fuel like a wood pellet, and they even make corn stoves and different cherry pits and all different things that people run through as a solid fuel. So a solid fuel could be wood or coal also, but that's the main difference between gas stoves and pellet stoves, is just the source of the fuel, and that it is what it says. It's a wood pellet. It looks like rabbit pellets. If anybody ever had pet rabbits, that's kind of what it looks like, is something like that.
Sure. And then back to my earlier question about having a chimney. Pellet stoves, I'm assuming, need some kind of chimney at that point?
Oh, definitely. They can be as simple as it's out the wall style, or they can be up above the roof line. But yeah, a lot of different variations on the venting for pellet stoves as well. But they definitely have to be vented.
Okay. And then what about electricity? Do you need to have electrical power to either a gas stove or a pellet stove?
Gas, you do not always have to have power. Unless you have a fan, then it would just power the fan. But many times the heating appliance will run without it. Now, on a pellet stove, you need to have power because they have to have a blower on there that helps the pellets burn, and an igniting igniter. So you definitely need power with a pellet stove.
Okay. Okay. So if someone's looking at potentially, heating their home in a power outage situation, it would be possible with a gas, depending on the type of fireplace that you have. But with a pellet stove, you'd have to have another source of electricity then.
Yeah, with a gas or propane stove, they have many different styles. Some do need electricity, but you can get ones with battery backups, and there's different things. On the pellet side, you would pretty much need like a standby generator of some type to power that. So many customers have installed, like if you look right over my shoulder here, you see vent-free heaters on the wall. Many customers have installed something like that just as a backup. They're only a couple $100s, and if power's out, they just go use those instead of the pellet stove.
Right. Got you. Okay. And then what about some safety issues? Can you discuss whether it's a gas or a pellet, source, propane, whatever? Can you talk about some safety tips and what homeowners should be considering when they're operating a fireplace or a stove?
Yeah, I mean the number one thing is definitely have a professional look at it every year, because years ago, and I'm going back a few years, but people would install these things and have a general contractor come in and install it, and they were just in their infancy. And many of the people who installed these things didn't understand that they needed to be tuned up and checked out on a periodic basis, or they just thought, oh, I'm just going to install this and I don't want to be bothered with a service call. Well, that's what happened. Is for so many years everyone was told, oh, just put a gas appliance in, you don't have to check it, you don't have to do anything, it'll be okay. Well, the reality is that you do have to check them. Many of them have pilots on them. They have igniters, things that can get dust and lint and even pet hair and dander on them and clog them up, or make them burn inconsistently and cause sooting. So those are all things you don't want in your house. So we would definitely recommend having an annual tune-up done by a professional. The other thing is like a CO detector. You want to make sure that you have a source for if you have an internal combustion inside your home, You want to have a carbon monoxide detector just in case there is an issue. And then they also make propane and natural gas detectors. You know, if you would ever have a leak or anything like that, they go off. And there is even combination units that you can get for carbon monoxide and natural gas or propane. So those are some of the things. The other thing, if if it's vented, you want to have somebody inspect the venting, make sure no birds build nests in the outside. Or a kid hit it with a baseball bat. I mean, we've had that already. He never told his parents, and they never noticed it. Uh, Things like that. Check out, on a vented product, that would be the main things. On a vent free, you want to make sure that you're not smoking in the house. You're not burning candles, incense, heavy perfumes, cleaning products while you're operating the heaters, because a vent free is basically taking the indoor air and cycling it through to burn. So if you have particles in the air, that's how we smell. The particles hit the flame, they burn up, and they create sooting. So you don't want to operate that stove if you smoke and have candles, like I mentioned, all those kind of things. And vent-free stoves are even more important to have serviced annually, just because there is no vent to dispel any emissions. So if it's not burning properly, then you could definitely have an issue. So they're perfectly safe, both kinds. It's just using them and respecting them the way they were intended to be used.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I didn't even think about with the particles in the air and having it basically sucked back in and burning up. That's interesting.
Yeah, many people don't understand that if there's a smell, that means there's a small amount of particles in the air that you are smelling. And
Yeah.
going into your nose, it means it can be burned up. So that's usually the issue, is when people say they have a smell or something's happening with the fireplace, and we usually run down a list, and one of them is candles, incense, perfumes, and usually 99% of the time it's like, oh yeah, I was burning some kind of plug-in candle or an incense of some kind, a perfume, and that's usually the issue.
Interesting. So, all right. So that wraps up the questions that I had on fireplaces, and I'm glad that you expanded on the safety tips. I think that's really important. In addition to fireplaces, now RFO is involved in a lot of other things. Can you give us a rundown on what else you provide as far as products and services?
Sure. We're a heating oil and propane delivery company. We have also on-road diesel fuel, off-road diesel fuel, and kerosene. We have a full heating and air conditioning system repair and installation division, that does all HVAC related items. We install heat pumps, boilers, furnaces for propane, natural gas, electric, and we also have like I mentioned, the hearth and patio showroom, where we sell fireplaces, space heaters, retractable awnings, barbecue grills, all kinds of barbecue grill accessories, charcoal grills, um, you know, outdoor fire pits, space heating for outdoors. So we have many different things that we do, and we service about a 50-mile radius of Lehighton.
That's awesome. And for people that want to get more information or contact you, the web address is www.rfohl.com. And why don't you give everybody your address, your phone number, and any other contact info?
Sure. The address is 400 Interchange Road, Lehighton, PA. That's Route 209. We're right next to Wentz Auto Body. You can't miss us, right along the road. Our phone number is 610-377-1098. And you can go on our website. We have Facebook and Twitter. Our email, if you would like to email us, is info@rfohl.com.
Awesome. And one last thing to wrap up, just touch on your service area. So whether it's someone who wants to buy a fireplace and have it installed, or a heating system that needs to be serviced, or oil delivery, just touch on the the mile radius out of Lehighton, or the counties that you service.
Sure. We operate in a 50-mile radius of Lehighton, PA. approximately. We cover approximately 5 counties, which is Northampton County, Lehigh County, Schuylkill County, Monroe County, Harbin County. We also touch on parts of Luzerne County and Berks County. We cover 82 zip codes, so if you're not sure where of our location, you can always call us and we'll tell you if we service that area or not. We cover the Lehigh Valley, a lot of the Poconos, pretty much northeastern PA.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Steve, I want to say thanks for taking time out of your day today to talk about fireplaces, answering some questions, and discussing safety issues. So thanks again.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.